This video will focus on Chapter 4, Section 5. And the first thing we're going to do is solve for y. Now, that means get y by itself. And if I look here, I want to try to get all these so I have y equals. So the first thing you want to do is move the x value over. And then if there is a coefficient in the y spot, you'll want to get the y or isolate the y by itself. So if I look at the first one, I just have to simply go through and subtract x from both sides. And I do that and I get y equals negative x plus 4. The second one is just I would subtract 2x from both sides, and I'll have y equals negative 2x plus 10. Number 3 is a little trickier, so I'm going to write this out, and I'll have 3x plus 4y equals 12. And the first thing I'll do is box the coefficients, of course, and then you want to move over the x value, because you want to try to get y by itself. So I'll say minus 3x on this side, and minus 3x on this side. At this point, you'll want to rewrite things. So I'll have 4 over 1y equals 12 minus 3x. And now what I want to do is do that multiplicative inverse to get the y by itself. So I'll multiply this side by 1 over 4, and I'll multiply this side by 1 over 4. Notice I'm actually multiplying the entire side by that. So now I'll have y equals, and I have to distribute. 12 times 1 is 12, divided by 4 is 3. And then I'll have negative 3 times 1 is negative 3 over 4, and that's x. So I can write this two ways. I can write it as y equals 3 minus 3/4 x, or y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. They mean exactly the same thing. I go through here, and here I go. So this is the exact same answer. We're going to do the similar things to 4, 5, and 6. So I'd like you to pause the video and try to do that. Alright, so now that you've done that, here we go. And those are the answers. So today we're going to be focusing on how could you describe the graph of the equation ax plus by equals c. Now notice this is a different format from what we're looking at here, because this is y equals mx plus b. In this case, I have the x and y on the same side. So if we go through here, we're going to read this, and it says that you sold a total of $16 worth of tickets to a school concert, and you lost track of how many of each type of ticket you sold. If we look here, it's $4 for adults, and it's $2 for students, and I sold a total of $16. So it says show a table with the different combinations of tickets that you may have sold. Well, the first thing that you should know is that I could have had, for adult tickets, let's just write down, if I sold, let's say, 2 adult tickets, and those are worth $4, so times 4, that equals 8. So I put a 2 here, and then that means that I have to have sold 4 kids tickets, right? Because that would also be 8. So together this will equal $16, and that's just one of my combinations. I could have sold also all adult tickets, right? I could have said, what if I sold 8, I'm sorry, yeah, well, let's sell all kid tickets. So 8 $2 tickets equals 16. And if I sold 4 adult tickets, that would also equal 16. And that right there will actually give me the value of all of these things. Check this out. This is kind of cool. If you graph this out, this is where graphing saves you time. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to go through here and graph this out, and I'll say x plus y, or 4x plus 2y equals 16. And when I plug in a 0 for x, I would have to get a 8 for y, right? So 0, 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is if I sold all kid tickets, right? And let's now plug in a 0 for the y value, and that means I have to have 4 adult tickets, right? So if I go over to 1, 2, 3, 4, and if I make a straight line between these two things, so from here to here, this will represent all of the various values that will make this statement true. So what you'll want to do is, first of all, find out where the intercepts are, because then when you connect the intercepts, you'll have every possible solution to this. And that's when we graph these things out. Here's another one that I want you to try to do. It's the same thing. So $4 for Swiss cheese, $2 for cheddar cheese. You're going to go through here and let X represent the number of pounds for Swiss. So that's the $4, right? So that'd be the 4X. And then the $2 for the cheddar. So 2Y, and that equals 16. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to do the intercept thing. Now it says to rewrite in slope intercept form. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to put down 4x plus 2y equals 16. Now, just like we were doing before, I'm going to subtract the 4x. Now I'm going to have 2y equals negative 4x plus 16. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. I'm writing a different color here just so I keep track of it. I'm going to have y equals negative 2x plus 8. And so if I go up here, I could graph this out. So I start off at 8, and I go down 1, 2, and over 1. 1, 2, over 1. 1, 2, over 1. 1, 2, over 1. And that will give me the exact same graph as what I had here when I solve for the axes. So now it says if you sold 2 pounds of cheddar cheese, how many pounds of Swiss cheese did you sell? Again, the cheddar is the x value, right? So I go over to 1, 2, and I go up right here. I think it's about 2. It's where it crosses. So if I sold 2 pounds of cheddar, that means I sold 2 pounds of Swiss. And let's just see if that ordered pair works. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. So this is the standard form that we're looking at. And here's an example. It says to graph this out. And I can write this in slope-intercept form. So I add 2 on both sides, and then, or 2x, and then I divide by 3. So I'm going to have y equals 2/3 x minus 2. And so my starting point is negative 2, and I go up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3. And it looks just like this. Now the other thing I could do is I could go through and I could put in a 0. So 0, and then I just have 3y. So negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So 0, negative 2 is right here. And if I plug in the other one, a 0 over here, then I have negative 6 divided by negative 2, which is positive 3. So that would be 3, comma 0. So if I look over here, 1, 2, 3, comma 0. That's that point. This is the intercepts. So I could have graphed it either way. So now I want you to go through and I want you to actually just graph this out. You could graph it however you like. You could change it into y equals mx plus b or plug in zeros. It's up to you. But here are the answers. And it says now graph using the intercept. So just plug in the 0, and then this would be negative 1. Or I'd put down a negative 3 and a 0. And here's where it crosses the axes. And that's really what this whole lesson is about today. So now try to write this equation and figure out where you have to spend $6 on apples and bananas, graph the equation. And where is x the number of pounds of apples and y is the number of pounds of bananas? So whenever I would go through and graph this out, what are my intercepts? So if we go through, let's look at it. So I have x is 4, so y is 0 there. So I have 4, 0. Let me just do this. So I'll put down 4, 0 is one of my ordered pairs. And the second one would be 0, 1, right? Because if I plug in a 0 here, this goes away. And it's just 6 divided by 6, and that's, I'm sorry, it's 10. It's 0.6, I'm sorry. So it'd be 0 and then 10. And that's this one over here. And here's the last example here. So graph the linear equations using the intercepts. So go through and practice this. Here are 3 problems. Try to figure them out, and I'll press play when you're finished graphing them. All right, here are the answers.